Sermon 4. The simulacrum of the Netchman's wife who carried the egg of Vivec within it went back to looking for the lands of the Indaural. Along the journey many more spirits came to see it and offer instructions to its son-daughter, the future glorious, invisible warrior poet of Vardenfell, Vivec. A troop of spirits called the Lobbyists for the Coincidence Guild appeared. Vivec understood the challenge immediately and said, "The popular notion of God kills happenstance." The head of the Lobbyists, whose name is forgotten, tried to defend the concept's existence. He said, "Saying something at the same time can be magical." Vivec knew that to retain his divinity, that he must make a strong argument against luck. He said, "Is not the sudden revelation of corresponding conditions and disparate elements that gel at the moment of the coincidence one of the prerequisites for being, in fact, coincidental? Synchronicity comes out of repeated coincidences at the lowest level. Further examination shows it is the utter power of the sheer number of coincidences that leads one to the idea that synchronicity is guided by something more than chance. Therefore, synchronicity ends up invalidating the concept of the coincidental, even though they are symptomatic signs that bring it to the surface. Thus was coincidence destroyed in the land of the Velothi. Then an old bone of the earth rose up before the simulacrum of the Netchman's wife and said, "If you are to be born a ruling king of the world, you must confuse it with new words. Set me into pondering." "Very well," Vivec said. "Let me talk to you of the world, which I share with mystery and love. Who is her capital? Have you taken the scenic route of her cameo? I have, lightly, in secret, missing candles because they are on the untrue side, and run my hands along the edge of a shadow made from 103 divisions of warmth, and left no proof." At this, the old bone folded unto itself 20 times until it became akin to milk, which Vivec drank, becoming a ruling king of the world. Finally, the Chancellor of Exactitude appeared, and he was perfect to look upon from every angle. Vivec understood the challenge immediately and said, "Certitude is for the puzzle box logicians and girls of white glamour who harbor it on their own time. I am a letter written in uncertainty." The Chancellor bowed his head and smiled 50 different and perfect ways all at once. He pulled the astrolabe of the universe from his robe and broke it in half, handing both halves to the egg image of Vivec. Vivec laughed and said, "Yes, I know, the slave labor of the senses is as selfish as polar ice, and worsens when energies are spent on a life others regard as fortunate. To be a ruling king, I will have to suffer much that cannot be suffered, and to weigh matters that no astrolabe or compass can measure." The ending of the words is Alm Sivi. Finally, the simulacrum of the Netchman's wife became unstable. The Dwemer in their haste had built it shoddily, and the ashes of Red Mountain slowed its golden tendons. Before long it fell on its knees beside the road to the lands of the Indaural, and pitched over to be discovered 80 days later by a merchant caravan on its way to the capital of Veloth, Anon Almalexia. Vivec had not been amongst his people all the days of his pre-life, so he stayed silent and let the Chimera in their caravan think that the simulacrum was broken and empty. A Chimeri warrior who was protecting the caravan said, "Look here how the Dwemer try to fool us as ever, crafting our likenesses out of the flesh metals. We should take this to the capital and show our mother Ayem. She will want to see this new strategy of our enemies." But the merchant captain said, "I doubt that we shall be paid well for the effort. We can make more money if we stop at Normuk and sell it to the Red Wives of Dagon, who shall pay well for the wonders made by the deep folk." But another Chimere, who was wise in the ways of prophecy, looked on the simulacrum with disquietude. "Was I not hired on to help you seek the best of fortunes? I say you should listen to your warrior then, and take this thing to Ayem. For though manufactured by our enemies, there is something in it that will become sacred, or has been already." The merchant captain took pause then, and looked on the simulacrum of the Nechiman's wife, and, though he heeded always the advice of his seers, could do no more than to think of the profits to be made at Normuk. He thought mainly of the Red Wives' form of recompense, which was four-cornered and good-rounded, a belly magic known nowhere else under the moons. His lust made him deny Ayem his mother. He gave order to change course for Normuk. Before the caravan could get underway again, the Chimeri warrior who had counseled a passage to the capital threw his money to the merchant captain and said, "I will pay you thus for the simulacrum and warn you, war is coming with the shaggy men of the north, and I will not have my mother Ayem at uneven odds with one enemy while tending to another." "Nerevar," the merchant captain said, "this is not enough. I am triune in my own way, but I follow the road of my body and demand more." Then Vivec could not remain silent anymore and said into Nerevar's head these words, "You can hear these words, so run away. Come, Hortator, unfold unto a clear unknown. Stay quiet until you've slept in the yesterday, and say no elegies for the melting stone." So Nerevar slew the merchant captain and took the caravan for his own. The ending of the words is Alm Sivi. Sermon 6. You have discovered the sixth sermon of Vivec, which was hidden in the words that came next to the Hortator. There is an eon within itself that when unraveled becomes the first sentence of the world. Mephala and Asura are the twin gates of tradition, and Boethia is the secret flame. The sun shall be eaten by lions, which cannot be found yet in Welaf. 6 are the vests and garments worn by the superstitions of men. Proceed only with the simplest terms, for all others are enemies and will confuse you. 6 are the formulas to heaven by violence. One that you have learned by studying these words. The Father is a machine and the mouth of a machine. His only mystery is an invitation to elaborate further. The Mother is active and clawed like a nix hound, yet she is the holiest of those that reclaim their days. The Son is myself, Vec, and I am unto 3, 6, 9, and the rest that come after, glorious and sympathetic, without borders, utmost in the perfections of this world and the others, sword and symbol pale like gold. There is a fourth kind of philosophy that uses nothing but disbelief. For by the sword I mean the sensible, for by the word I mean the dead. I am Vec, your protector and the protector of Red Mountain until the end of days, which are numbered 3,333. Below me is the savage, which was needed to remove ourselves from the Altmare. Above me is a challenge which bathes itself in fire and the essence of a god. Through me you are desired, unlike the prophets that have borne your name before. 6 are the walking ways from enigma to enemy to teacher. Boethia and Azura are the principles of the universal plot, which is begetting, which is creation, and Mephala makes of it an art form. For by the sword I mean the first night, for by the word I mean the dead. There will be a splendor in your name when it is said to be true. 6 are the guardians of Veloth, 3 before, and they are born again, and they will test you until you have the proper tendencies of the hero. There is a world that is sleeping, and you must guard against it. For by the sword I mean the dual nature, for by the word I mean animal life, for by the sword I mean preceded by a sigh, for by the word I mean preceded by a wolf. The ending of the words is Alm Sivi.